Hello everyone and welcome to another Mrs. B's video. In this video I'm going to go over the two things here, the return on investment and incremental income. So I'll show you how to do those calculations. They're very simple and straightforward. Sometimes the layout can be look a little overwhelming, but actually when you work through it, it's pretty straightforward. So let's read the problem. Big box retailer at consumer goods provides the following information on two departments. We have the electronics and we have sporting goods. Sales for electronics is $41,520,000. Income is $3.114 million, and average invested assets is $17,300,000, which means that's what the company invested to be able to get this electronics department up and running. So for sporting goods, sales were $18,088,000, income $2.261 million, and average invested asset is $13.3 million. So again, the company, went to the piggy bank, got $13.3 million out, gave it to sporting goods and said, hey, go set up shop, make some money, okay? All right, which is going to be important for us to figure out that incremental income. So the first thing we need to do is compute the return on investment for each department. Use the return on investment for the department using the return on investment, which department is more efficient. So return on investment is simply net income divided by average invested assets. So if a company is going to break open the piggy bank and give a department some money to go do something, they expect a rate of return. So what is that rate of return? So return on investment is 18%. So if we take 3,114,000 divided by 17.3 million, we get an 18% return for electronics, and we get a 17% return on sporting goods. Both pretty darn good for retailers because on average retailers make more like 5 or 6%. So clearly the electronics department is doing a little bit better at 18%, but not too shabby for the sporting goods department. So now we're going to calculate the residual income. Okay, so let's read this. Assume the target income level is 11% of invested assets. Compute the residual income for each department. So that's basically saying that the company's internal rate of return is 11%. So all projects need to make more than 11%, or they should not have broken up in the piggy bank and they should have just left the money for another project that was going to make more than 11%. So therefore, we're going to need to take the net income, and then we're going to subtract out the residual the incremental income, residual income. Let me use the correct term. So we're going to subtract out the residual income. We're going to subtract out the target net income to get the residual income. All right, so how do we get that target net income? We're going to take and go back to this average invested amount, and it says that we need 11% return. So I'm going to take 17.3 million times 11%. So let's just do that really quick. So if I take, so you can see an example, 17 and then 0.11%. Well, easy for me to do. 0.11. Okay, and then I'm just going to multiply. All right, that's how I got the 1,903,000. So therefore, the electronics department has to make at least $1.9 million on its investment, or it wasn't worth the investment, right? But clearly they did better, a lot better than that. They actually have residual income. So what's left over is called residual income, and what's left over is 1.2 million. So pretty good. Pretty decent there. And let's look at sporting goods. So we're going to take their net income of $2,261,000, and they're going to subtract out target income. So again, target income, let's just do that math. I'm just going to, all right. So I'm going to go grab target income, 2,261,000 times, actually, did I just make a mistake? Absolutely. So while you were paying attention out there, you're probably going, no, don't use that number. You still use the 13 million number. So we need to use the average invested amount of 13.3 million times just 0.11%, which is 11%. So the sporting goods department needs to make a minimum of $1.4 million, but they made 2.26. So we take 2,261,000 minus 1,463,000 gives us net a residual income of 798,000. So which of the departments is doing better? Electronics is doing better. But wait, we're not done yet. So now we're going to figure out the, let's see. Assume the electronics department is presented with a new investment opportunity that will yield a 14% return on investment should the new opportunity be accepted. And so let's just go do that. If we take our initial investment, and so that says our net income has to be 2.4 million, which we've got 3.1. So yes, they can handle a 14% investment requirement. All right, let's go down and now let's calculate the profit margin. So we're going to take the net income divided by the sales denominator. We're going to get the sales. I got the sales from the first box up here. So electronics is 41 million and sporting goods is 18 million, right? So I am taking my net income, which we know we've been working with those numbers, the 3.1 and the 2.2, right, million. So 3.1 divided by sales of 41,520,000 gives us profit margin of 7.5%. And sporting goods of 2.2 million divided by the 18 million gives us profit margin of 12.5%. So think of it this way. So for every dollar sales that electronic has, 7.5 cents is profit. And for every dollar sales the sporting goods has, 12.5% is profit. So therefore, the sporting goods is a little more profitable, even though the sales aren't quite as big. But for sale, dollar for dollar, the sporting goods department is a little more profitable. All right, and the last thing we're going to do is calculate the investment turnover. So we're going to take the sales divided by the average invested assets. So 17.3 million into 41,520,000 goes 2.4 times. And the average invested assets 13.3 into 18,088,000 goes 1.36 times. So clearly the electronics department is a little more efficient in their operations. All right, I hope that was helpful in calculating the return on investment and residual income. And again, if you have any questions, reach out. That's why I'm here.